And welcome everyone to the very first edition of Roulette Recap. A news show, a little bit about Roulette Rivals, the tournaments we're having. Yeah, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you also to my two co-hosts for being here. I am joined today by GK Punk and In4Fun. Welcome.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry, I was using the stream twice.
All good, all good. Yeah, thanks for being here. Thank you to everyone who's listening in. I know there is a match going on right now in parallel. However, with time being a limited resource, we gotta start now. And I'll just quickly have a few words about what this entire thing is gonna be, basically. Due to the lots of positive feedback on a related stream I did way back about Speedrun Competition 7, I think it was, and yeah, lots of positive feedback about In4Fun's written recaps of the group stage of the Roulette Rivals World Championship. We've decided to just take this thing a bit to the next level and, do an entire stream about it, where we just sit here with you guys, just talk a little bit about the tournament, about what happened, and turn up the volume. I'll do that. And yeah, just go over what happened in the tournament. It's gonna be. This format is mostly, it's not gonna just happen once and never again. I think we do plan to do this a bit regularly. How regularly is currently still up for debate. It's mostly gonna be, obviously, during times of a tournament, like for example, the Roulette Rivals World Championship 2021 right now. But once that's over, we might have a bit of a break. And then be back for Roulette Rivals 7 will probably come after that or something. So yeah, if the demand is high enough, we will keep doing it, I think. Yeah, we got a bit of a plan. We've broken this up into several segments here, and I think we can actually jump right into the first segment here, unless any of you have anything to say about the structural aspects of this before we start.
I'm really excited.
Think we all are. So yeah, then let's basically get right into it and have take a bit of a step back, I guess, and talk about the Roulette Rivals World Championship 2021, and especially the group stage, since that just recently ended. Have a little bit of a look at that in general. Group stage started on the 22nd of October, about 27 days ago, if I did my maths correct. And yeah, in those 25 days that the group stage consists of, we had, if I counted correctly, 209 matches, but feel free to correct me on this one, actually.
That's what I got as well, yeah.
Okay,
so many matches.
It was a hell of a lot. Between 64 competitors, and, how did you guys, because you were, already adminning before this tournament, how did you feel about the sheer amount of matches that we had during the group stage here in comparison to the previous Roulette Rivals tournaments, where there was just a KO bracket and there was lot less matches? God, that's a difficult thing to say. So did you feel like it was an issue at some points, or yeah? How would did it get dealt with? Just your feelings in general about the group stage here.
Punk, wanna go first?
Sure, I guess. So adminning perspective, for the most part, it went fairly smoothly. I mean, the only issues are abrupt no-shows and personally probably like time zone conversion from players when they like, hey, schedule my match at this time, and turns out it wasn't that time. But in terms of conducting the matches and adminning them, it was fairly smooth because we had a lot of roulette admins that were available throughout the day, so I would say it's mostly smooth enough.
Yeah, every time there was any small issue, which of course going to happen over 3 weeks and a bit, there were always enough admins available to talk over the slight bumps if there were any, or of course checking those photo finishes and all, or quick rule discussions. I think no one was ever left alone, and yeah, I think the roulette admin system is getting even smoother this time with I think even more roulette admins were added, of course, to the or alongside the admins who also did their part. So it's, I think the tournament went from having 5-6 admins working on matches, basically double that, which was really needed for the group stages, because so 3 weeks and 200 matches is like, I don't want to bore anyone with the exact numbers, but it was
Oh, sure.
it was twice of a regular RR, because those cap around 100, and we had twice that in these 3 weeks, and so twice the people just make sense for that.
Yeah, I mean, also like we're not even done with the tournament yet, and we already have like twice the amount of matches of a regular Roulette Rivals. That is just insane. But sorry, I think I interrupted you there.
I actually think that was my main takeaway from the group stages, having to work on this huge load of the matches, but as I think it was distributed quite fairly and evenly, and that it's something that I find really important, maybe more important than most other people, is having every match shoutcasted and kept on YouTube with exporting and all that. And I think we are on the way to get there, with I think just a few missing from the group stages. And I think if that happens, then it will be a great achievement by not just the admin team, but the shoutcaster team. And of course, I haven't talked about the players. I mean, we will talk about the group stages instead, but in details. But yeah, I mean, they were also great partners in the scheduling and flexibility, and of course there are always exceptions and no-shows, which were handled accordingly. But I think for the most part everything went smoothly.
Yeah. You both of you actually already mentioned this a little bit. Admins, well, we had enough, I guess. I think there were a few times where we had to like move or slightly delay matches because there was like overlaps and stuff like that. And obviously there were times where we had a lot more matches at once, and times where we had less matches at once. Just quickly want to talk about the other important part, or like another important part about the matches, I guess, for all of us here, having Punk as a lead shoutcaster and Infofun, who already said that, well, having all the matches shoutcasted is gonna be, or important to you. Did you feel like we had a shoutcaster shortage at the start of the tournament here, or, well, I guess we did kind of have, but do you think that's resolved now, or do we still have issues there? Maybe let's start with Punk again, since he's like lead shoutcaster now.
So, did we have shortage? Look at Infofun's messages. Yes, he's. I think 99% of his casts were impromptu, I'll take it because nobody was there. Even I've done a few.
I think we all did
Do
actually.
we have enough shoutcasters? Yes, but if you go on the list, it's like the 5 people doing all like 120 or 30 matches. In terms of numbers, there isn't, but maybe the availability is. It's kind of like the situation with the roulette admins, which is a lot better now at this point. But yeah, shoutcasters, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, the people that did a bunch of matches, they have more flexibility and availability, but I would say it's not like the number of shoutcaster, but the availability, and that's nothing you can really fix because everybody's doing this out of their own like free time.
Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of doing this voluntarily on our own. It's same with
Yeah,
adminning and
exactly.
everything. So,
Yeah.
of course, there always is going to be like times
I
where we
wouldn't
have
say
more.
there's a shortage, but shortage of availability, but not shortage of people.
Okay, so it's from your take, it's like we have enough people, but like, quote unquote, the people are not available, like when we need them the most, maybe, without like flaming that on the people themselves. But
Yeah,
let's
I'm
just
not
like,
flaming them on
no,
anybody.
totally
Yeah,
not, totally
absolutely
not.
I like I said, like the guys that uh spent a lot of time like in for fun, like most of them he also shoutcasted where he admined as well. Personally, I think somebody shoutcasting, like if you don't admin, you can cast better, commentate better. So that's just my view, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I wanted to add that I I think most my casts, which you are right, mostly impromptu, happened in the first week and a half. Some of them even without microphone because I think there were 4 at the same time and just couldn't really handle it all. But for the second part, we had a well, it's not an influx, but a couple more shoutcasters, and namely Barbecue and Jotes. But it's a huge team, which all of them I appreciate, but they are the newcomers, which I'm happy that they could take more matches through the later half of the group stages. And what I want to say for the future is that now we are going to have 50 something matches for 3 weeks or more, maybe 4, which will be much easier to manage. And of course, no more World Championship group stages for a year. So I think we are through the hardest part now.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, another thing we quickly touched upon at the start here, where that we did have a big amount of like reschedules, people not showing up for the matches, and well, at the end, dropouts of the tournament, resulting in 20 matches that were already played and done being nullified at the end because of, well, people dropping out. Would you say that that has been that's been increasing for the Roulette Rivals Championship, especially since we have more players and more matches, or do you see like another reason at this? Maybe start with In for Fun this time.
So the dropouts in relation to other tournaments, I don't think they're necessarily worse as a ratio or percentage. I'm scrolling through and I see 2, 3, 4, I think 5 dropped out of 64 and 1 got replaced by another, which is about the same as a year ago, and it is about the same as every regular RR. There are always going to be a couple who just realize that this isn't for them. But it is more crucial for group stages because the match that they play counts the same against every other opponent. So if they think that or their availability runs out halfway there, or with 3 matches to go and 1 weekend to go or something, it affects the whole group. And yeah, those results will have to be nullified because that is the only fair way, and it is a headache and it causes some heartbreak. some results changing at the last minute, but there's not much you can do about just, I guess, just noting them and making sure that at least those people can do it again. Yeah, we are kind of limited.
Yeah, Punk, anything you have to add to that, or would you generally agree? With what-
Yeah, I mean, I mostly agree. It's the heartbreaks where the points just disappear and somebody who was set to qualify just doesn't. That's what probably is the most disappointing thing for me.
Indeed.
Because dropouts happen anyways. Like
That's
one said.
I mean, yeah, that's true. And yeah, if there has not been a large increase in them, I think that's pretty. And then we're doing pretty good, and the players have been doing pretty good in comparison to. Well, not in comparison to anything really, but just in general. And yeah, I think with that being said, I think we can wrap up the more overall look on the tournament here and yeah, jump right in to having a short look at the groups by themselves. And I'm gonna give Infrafun the word here for this.
You say a short look, but it is going to be the largest part
the
of
longest.
this recap.
I mean, we have 8 groups, so
But we are trying to keep it short, and yeah, I'll just go group by group, and they'll obviously stop and ask about your opinions and all. So let's get our group out of the way first. Group A had both Curry and I. We're both advancing from here. The first seeder here was myself with two-time fifth place finisher Linux Penguin as second seed. Curry was the third, and Chromax as fourth. And there was a small line, I guess, between the top four and the bottom or the other floor, which I mean in the results mainly. We also had Tinega, two-time RR participants, one of the Switch players, one of the few Switch players of Hitman, and changed to Stadia. Matty Spice returned after RR6. Alex was also an RR6 rookie who got 9th there, and OHS Hitman was the 8th seed who was an RRWC rookie. So I usually have questions which both of you can answer, but I have the other question for Curry. So this one just quickly for Punk. If I think this was the only group where the top 4 seeds advanced. Thankfully, that's the exception, not the norm for Roulette. Do you know if there was any reason for that? Was it the top 4 players? Was it something else?
Why they placed top 4?
Yeah.
Or why they got out of groups?
Yeah, because felt like there weren't many upsets in this group in particular. Just if you had
yeah, this group is like you said. The way it's set up right now is the way you would exactly cut it in half. It's the guys up there are with actual roulette tournament like tangible experience, and the guys at the bottom, some of them have played more than one roulette or maybe one roulette before, but it's still not enough compared to the guys up top. That's really the explanation. It's the experience taking over. That's why it's the I guess if you showed me this group in the beginning, I could probably line these up around the same way and say these four would have gone out.
If I quickly can add something here, what I actually looked up, this group, or the top 4 players here, actually were predicted in exactly this order at the start of the tournament. So yeah, I guess that reinforces the point of the top 4 being quote-unquote as expected.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, and luckily this was the only group like that, and it basically just that 4 veterans versus 4 newer players. And I think a year from now we might see, or we would see, a whole different order. But yeah, so this group took a few days to get going with a couple of ties on the early days. That I think it's expected from the World Championship. And then came Chromax, who raced through all these matches, became the first one to finish all 7, and sneakily got all 7 wins. Last one against myself, winning 4 in 2 days as well.
another thing, I think the way it's on screen, if you look at the point distribution, top three, 35 to 28, and then 4 and 5 are so close to each other, and then 6, 7, and 8 have the exact. That's also shows kind of the skill level of the whole group, which basically what we're saying this whole time. It's a really, really well balanced group, and the way it's like ended is a good reflection of the skill of the players, I think.
I had fun watching these and playing these, and
Yeah.
everyone got 11 points, so everyone got some success out of it. Even if we can see not everyone got a win, but everyone got plenty
Might
of
be the
points.
only group with like double-digit points for everybody. I think.
It is, yeah.
I think it might be, yeah.
So,
So yeah, we picked up with Chrome, winning all 7 and ending with 31 points. But of course, we ranked players by points scored, not the results themselves. So Linux and I had a chance to catch up. We played each other. I beat Linux and eventually got to 35 points. But Linux also got the 5 wins from the 5 other seeds, and that was the comfortable third place with a good 28 points. But the battle for fourth came down to the final day, which was for us the last Monday. We actually finished 6 days ahead of time. Curry was on the back foot, but had 2 more matches to go, and he needed 6 points against Matty Spice and Tinega. So that was his small not small, 6 points is an obstacle to make. But he won both of those matches. He won for 8 points and got 4th place by 3. And OHS for a rookie, a very impressive 19 points, overtaking the 3 Americans who, they are ranked 6th, 7th, 8th because of their head-to-head. That is sorted, but basically tied and doesn't matter for who advances where. So if anyone has anything else from this group, I feel free to chime in. One additional question to Curry is that how he felt in these last few days when he had to catch up and take 4th place.
Well, I can definitely say I wasn't happy with it. I guess if you're competing in something, you're always gonna be, well, not happy about losing. That's just how competition is. Anyways, it has been a bit stressful, definitely. However, I think what helped me a lot was getting the top seed matches out of the way like pretty early. I think my first match actually was against you and for fun in this group, and you were the first seed. So I basically worked my way from like top to bottom, which might have been what helped me in the end to catch up here and still make it out of groups. I feel like I might also be the player with the least match wins to still advance from groups, because if you can see, as you can see right here, I only have 3 wins in this group. But yeah, I don't have the exact stats on the other ones in front of me right now.
It's a good stat though. Yeah, Punk?
yeah, I think I agree. And the thing about the EU dominated group, that's for sure. All 3 Americans, none of them makes it through. That's the chance to talk about it. Very disappointing for the Americans, that's for sure.
Yeah, they did have more successes in other groups. And for that, I think we shall go to Group B then, which was Tucker's domain. He was the best performing player of
Very
the year.
disappointing performance. From Tucker, by the way.
Yeah, just
Yeah, so he was the only person to grab all 3 RR titles, so he got the 2nd position behind the defending world champion. So that's why he got Group B. And he really dominated this group with 7 wins up to 40 points, just dropping 2. And it was denied not by a map loss, strange Dartmoor or Berlin or one end of the spectrum, but 2 ties. It was a Santa Fortuna RNG on his 6th match and his own Haven Island pick on his 7th. So I think we'd all expected Tucker to win this one and dominate, maybe even win all 7. But how does the 40 points stack up, in your opinion?
well,
Was it too over expectation or below, and you expected all 42?
I don't know. I think 40 points is a bit. 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 I think 40 points is a b Well, I guess I think a few people straight after the group's draw, which was also done live on stream, which was a really good thing, I think. Um, a lot of people kept like were all like theorizing about the groups and like thinking, yeah, who might finish where. And I think one of the decisions that everyone had was basically to put Ducker at least advancing out from this group, if not at the top spot immediately. Ducker has been performing so well in the recent tournaments this year that he definitely feel like deserved his first seed and second on the like entire seeding leaderboard. So I think in that sense the 40 points might have been actually, well, I guess surprising but not unexpected. If you get what I mean there. I'm just surprised he didn't get the full 42 out of it, and I'm a bit disappointed by that.
And I think,
I mean, for me, when I first, like, when everything was 0, I didn't expect Ducker to get all 42. I probably would have said he finishes maybe between 32 and 36 points. I think that's plausible. Like, we've seen Group A stopped with 35, so after he got done with maybe 4 or 5 matches, then I was expecting him to get to 42. But we were always joking about who's gonna take a map from Ducker, and turns out he kind of dropped the 2 maps himself. That's the only running joke. But this is 5-time roulette winner, 3-time roulette winner for just this year, I think, and this was as much expected and deserved for sure.
basically becoming I think he was the first player who not only advanced, but his place was fixed. Like, I think after 5 matches, he got first place, and with a week to go or 9 days to go, he was already set in the brackets in whatever position he was. B1, that was Ducker, and he had to wait for the other 31 names to fill in by Sunday.
If he got 0 points for his last 2 matches, he would have still been first, because he was at 30 at that point.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if he or actually Buff Guy was the first to be advancing for sure or something. I'm not sure if he was the first one to be sure that he's advancing from groups, but I think he was definitely the first one to have a set place in the brackets.
Yeah. But it's just one name, and we had other 3 which played quite evenly. A compelling fight for second place between strong second seed Joe the Baby Grabber, shortened to Joe Baby Grabber because of the overlay limitations, and his unlikely opponent was Agent Mando. They tied at the start of the group stages, and results came in a way, including Mando sweeping bad games and Joe being swept by Ducker, that the very last match for Joe, because he had one more to go, he had to sweep Crudy, and if that happens, they both finish on 28 points, tying each other and 5 wins, which means that they would have had to play the decider match for second place, because of course seeding matters. But that 1 point came down to a Colorado tie, and Joe only won 5-1 and finished on 27 points. But that 1 point also secured Crudy's 4th place, and then we had Chebiat with a also strong rookie 5th place, and some wonderful plays with the UFO exit and playing starting skydiving suit in Dubai against Taran. I think those are fun moments from Group B which we remember fondly. And just a nice even fight between Chebiat, Cobalt, and Taran for 5th place with bad games rounding off the group. That's all I got for B. If you have anything to say,
I don't think so. The was definitely entertaining, as you mentioned, with the like gentleman's agreement about skydiving suit start and the UFO exit, and I think we also had bus stop start in Berlin there. So it was definitely an entertaining group to watch.
Yeah, it was also 7 people fighting for 3 spots.
Yeah, Dakar made that very sure very quickly. So this entertained me on in terms of watching the matches and having fun watching. But Group C was the one which entertained me because it was so tense until the very last day. Group C was, in my opinion, from the first day to the very last, the group of death with these
Yeah.
5 players.
Agreed.
Three-time champion Giannini, RR6, fourth place console player Fopper, Meme Junkie with 3 top 5 finishes in RRs, some random person who played since day 1 of Roulette, so that's January 2020, and RR1 third place finisher. And these are just the top 4 seeds, and they got the opportunity to play Kaneta, the up-and-coming 6th seed and one of the biggest improvers, and Roulette Recap finalist, so everyone knew that he is one to look out for. And Kaneta did win his group in the end. That was some very enjoyable back and forth between those 5. And I think what we haven't talked about, I mean, as a community, that it wasn't just their points against each other, but the 5 trying to sweep the other 3, because of course all points count, not just the head-to-head. But yeah, my question would be that, of course, these 5 would be the 5 fighting for advancing, but who did you think before the tournament would be eliminated from this group?
This is like, I feel like the toughest group to call, and yeah, as you already said, it came down to the very last day even, and I don't think I could have given an accurate prediction before the tournament. I mean, I guess we all expected these top 5 to be the top 5 in this group, but the order between them, and like Fopper being eliminated with 25 points, which is also something I want to quickly point out here. With 25 points, Fopper would have advanced in any other group apart from this one. And I think that also empathizes how hard this group was in terms of competition among the top 5 players. So I kind of dodged your question about who I'd predict to be top 4 here, I guess. But in the end, like, I don't think I can answer it either. Because, yeah, all of these were amazing players, and in the end, well, as you can see, it came down to single points.
Yeah, it's really just impossible. Since it's my question, and it's after the group stage, I'll buy the bullet. I was thinking that Randy would be the 5th best player in this group, and he and Fopper would fight for that 4th place. Which, I mean, they are 3 points apart with me in between them, so it was. I think it had so many significant matches. I try not to list them all, but at the start, the very first significant result was Kaneta sweeping Meme Junkie, and Meme also lost to Randy. And Randy beating, I think it was Meme and Fopper. Those were 2 so significant wins, not just because it was a 4 points for him, but also taking points from his opponents. And he also like doubled down on that with 3 convincing wins over the bottom 3. And after like 3 or 4 days, Random was looking the safest out of the 5 because of his matches and point totals. So looking at the other 4, Yanni and Fopper started with a tie, I remember that. And try to paying attention to another screen. It takes long, but what I'm trying to go for is so Meme lost to Kaneta and Random, and Fopper couldn't capitalize on the bottom 3. The other 3 players were very convincing and did end up with taking the top 3 places. And this left with a Meme versus Fopper showdown for that 4th place, which was, for me, the most exciting match in terms of gameplay and permutations and consequences for the group stages. This Meme Junkie versus Fopper. You see, it came down to 1 point, and that 1 point was scored with a... Well, Meme swept Fopper, so if Fopper took a single map from that match, the order would have switched 27 to 24. And the very last map was Whittleton Creek, and they both finished first try, but with more than 10 minutes of in-game time in Whittleton Creek. And Fopper just couldn't exit quick enough to trigger the photo finish, which would have helped him, of course, console versus PC. And it was that point, I think, with 5-6 days to go, that it was going to be over, because the other results were not surprising, sweeps and all. So that was a really exciting saga for 4th place, and you can see that 1st place was also decided by just 1 point. Giannini had 12 points less than Kaneta with 2 matches to go, and he swept 1 match, but only got 4-2 against some random person. He got some accident kill, I think, and gun flashed, and got Red Gun's Santa Fortuna exiting with like 3 seconds to go.
Ooh,
so that,
now I remember.
That would be the moment which settled 1st and 2nd place in this group. But yeah, I've kind of been rambling for the last 5 minutes. What do you think about that match, or Meme and Fopper's duel, or this group in general?
I actually think you summed it up pretty well. There was a shit ton of matches that were both so close and so tense that decided everything here, basically. So yeah, I don't think I have anything to add here, really. I don't know about you, Punk.
I mean, my thoughts are the same. Like, maybe the way group of death is exactly right. Like, top 4 is so tight in terms of points, and then seeing Fopper could have been placed in any other group with that amount of points, and he advances.
Yeah,
it's a bit heartbreaking, but it's also very exciting. Like, a random played versus Giannini, and he took the last map. That match was really exciting too, because Giannini was done, and then he gets spotted right at the exit, which gives Random like a 4.5 minute lead, and then those 2 points ends up putting him ahead of Meme, which, like, at the beginning, if you asked me, I would have put Random at 5th as well and put Fopper at 4th. Maybe Giannini topping the group. But this was like a group of death, not only so competitive, but also like so hard to predict exact positions. You could probably put top 4, but where they would be at the top 4. But Random's performance, I think, justifies that he advances, because he won against Meme Junkie, and he took important 2 points from Giannini.
The no practice master race right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, these were first 3 groups. Unfortunately, the only 3 groups which played all 28 matches. The other 5 will all have either a forfeit, or 2 in this case, or just a match not played for some reason. But yeah, it is the... I need to clear my throat 1 second.
No worries.
Let's talk about the actual group of death where, like, points were all killed.
I think that's a great
very
analogy
nice
here, yeah.
Yeah. So the group where points went to die was Froty's group, and I guess the Dutchman's group with PG as 2nd seed. And as you can see, 420 finishing 3rd, Chaos 4th. They were the 4th seed, so I guess it's not only Group A, but this one as well, advancing more or less in order. I think Chaos was the 3rd seed. But anyway, the way we got here in this kind of unsurprising situation was a very bumpy road. I think the first one Well, I guess the second match was Float losing to 420. And 420 did capitalize with some other strong matches. So he was, I think, the first player to really look good and set to advance. He was really unfortunate to lose out by a hair last year in the group stages. And I think it was obvious that he does want to get better, or score better, because he's getting better tourney after tourney. And yeah, it it ended in a third place for him, but after some forfeits. What we had here, we had Hashashin beating Pijero and 420. So he was a person looking to advance. Also sweeping Chubby, which you can see isn't included
6
in
points gone.
Yes. And another 5 against Connor B. So Hashashin scored 24 points, and in a group of 8, 24 would have been enough, as you can see, or because it's not the same type of group as C, it's a more open, so 24 would have been enough. So basically the way this shook out is it was the last Friday when Connor B had a match against 420, who started having connection issues and then ended the stream, and then didn't react to DMs, didn't accept friend requests, left the Discord, left the group DM, and we didn't hear anything from him. Maybe it's too much information shared, but I think the people have the right to know that it's a very straightforward, although awkward way of forfeiting. And Connor was the first one out, and 2 days later, Chubby is in the community, so I would like to keep it short, but he was he missed his match, which wasn't the first time, and with running short on time, he was not given the option to reschedule this match again, so he was the other forfeit, and his 6 losses and 1-5 losses were taken away from people, which meant that Hashashin lost his points and Chaos didn't have to play his very last match against Chubby. He was under pressure of scoring all 6 to beat Hashashin, but with the Chubby score lost, Chaos didn't have to play and actually tied Hashashin, which came down to head-to-head scores, and I can only assume Chaos beat Hashashin, which is why he advanced. But yeah, Hashashin basically was in 4th place, looking for Chaos' match to play, and well, not nice to say, but he was probably hoping that Chaos loses a point. But there was no match, and the switch has been made without one.
Yeah, dropout deciding the KO stages. It's gonna happen again in another one where dropout decides the 4th place.
It's not pretty, but sadly, it's the way it has to be, basically.
Yeah, because these things, like Infrafront mentioned, they were all pushed to the limit in terms of time, like reschedule and then a reschedule, but there was no time left to play the match, so...
I think it was something I quickly can share. There, up until I think technically very last match, there was a possibility for 2 players, which I think are coming later in the group, so I'm not going to spoil too much here. There was a possibility for them to be tied in points, wins, head-to-head record, everything that would have resolved a tiebreaker. And at that point, the last thing on the tie-breaking list, basically, is a tiebreaker match to be played. But I feel like there actually wasn't any time planned for the tiebreaker match, so I'm not sure. I mean, there would have been a way, some way. I guess we would have made it work, but it definitely would have been like some tight timing and some weird inconsistencies, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one extra match for those 2 people involved. We would have been hoping for them to play as soon as possible and then fill the brackets shortly. But yeah, there wasn't really any plans for that. But we did some quick decision making over the last couple days, and that would have been fine as well, I think.
Anyway, this group.
Yeah, anything else about Group D?
Yeah, I don't think so. Other than like, to me, it's just sad to see two people drop out. Of course, stuff can happen. Something can get in the way. But like seeing how I think both of them were done with more than half of their matches, if I recall correctly. And it was pretty late into the tournament. That's just sad to see them go at that stage.
Yeah, we're gonna have a different. We had all different kinds of forfeits, and I think this is the least convenient when they've played some matches, but not all. But also, they weren't one away from finishing, so it was just the most awkward. And it really is the only fair way to just erase them from the group. But yeah, we gotta make 4 advance one way or the other, and this was the fairest way. I scrolled too far. Group E is next, which was the relatively straightforward group in terms of who are expected to top this run. Chris is obviously a very strong contender of this year.
Yeah, let's
And,
not mention him at all.
Yeah, let's ignore this one and just skip it. But he had the opportunity to play Johnny X, who finished 3rd here last year in the World Championship, and also his only tournament since then, RR5, he also got 3rd, basically making him the strongest 2nd seed, in my opinion. So even if it's not even, it was a close enough match that either of them could have topped the group, and looking at the others, they were the only reasonable shots at winning the group. Not saying there aren't any good players, but these are World Championship contenders, which we think they're worth doing this one.
I think
And
with Johnny finishing 3rd in the group again, isn't he like the most consistent 3rd place finisher from everything he's entered so far?
that's brilliant, yeah. And last year he couldn't finish 3rd because his 4th place group had 2 forfeits, so he had no option than finish 1st. But yeah, you can see the results. It's a 7-point gap between Chris and Papier, not Johnny, but we'll get to that why. It all came down to the final weekend.
Like with
but this was
everything.
Oh yeah. I think it's just us who just had to relax for the final 4 days, and then Group F was decided 4 days before, and then the other 6 just stalling until the last day. It's understandable. But yeah, Mikulas was the focus in the first few matches because he was the one accumulating those points. He actually beat Papier Fresse, who returned after RR5, so skipping 6. But Mikulas only tied Rocky Horse and Luis, which put him in a strange middling position because he would have wanted to get more points against the lower seeds, but also he got the upset against Papier, who is also a lower seed, but was because he only played 1 RR, but did quite bad in there. So this was an interesting dynamic. And this dynamic was also shuffled up by Luis, who is also an RR6 rookie, I think. And well, he's in chat, so I apologize. He wasn't impressive back then, but how much he improved and became a contender of, you can see 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. That's a complete middling position. In other groups, that would have been a advancing position with 20. Ultimately didn't get the top 4 positions. He had the chance, but poor Luis had he says he needed 1 win, but he needed a win against Chris or Johnny. And they were also fighting for a group win, so they were never going to let go of their speed. I guess it's down to scheduling, but there's only so much you can do. It was just unfortunate that he had to end with these 2 matches, couldn't get enough points, and I think 20 is still respectable. And the last name, of course, we have Rocky with 14, 1 win, 2 ties. showing considerably stronger than Demchiko and Milk, who, well, they couldn't finish their group, 6 matches, but there was a precedent last year that 2 players couldn't find a time in the last few days, and the admins back then allowed them to just not play, and they weren't eliminated from the groups or removed from the groups because it's inconsequential in terms of who advances and where. So this time as well, they were just left on 6 points. And I'm going to get to Chris and Johnny in a moment now, but Papier also did so well. 5 wins, 2 losses, and I think one of those wins was against Chris as well. So he lost to Johnny and he lost to Mikulars. But the other 5 wins were very impressive and ending on 30 points. He was looking to get 3rd place, which behind Chris and Johnny, and that went down to the last match. There was a tie, I think, in Haven. Chris only could get up to 31 points, Johnny on 29, which meant that one
Yeah,
map
4-2
win
or
for
better
Chris-
for Johnny means he takes top number 1 spot.
Yeah, and the tie was unlikely, so it's whoever wins that match becomes the group winner. But it happened to be a sweep. You two casted it. I just heard that it was a late trip for Chris, stuck in the
Yeah.
door, getting the
Florida
deal.
man.
Florida man. Oh my god.
Or the
Florida
man
man
stuck in the
strikes.
door on Berlin, everything you can wish for, basically.
Yeah, it was a Berlin tragedy, and probably deserving of the Berlin player who probably spent hundreds of hours on it. It would only happen to a person who plays the map a lot too.
Of course, like, no other person would have gotten that except for Chris there.
So that's how he got the first 2 points, and then got one of the, if not the quickest Marrakesh spins. I don't have the record on this one, but that was 4-0 back then, and for him it was inconsequential. Johnny could have taken 2nd place with a Mendoza win, but it was also, well, season 3 map, Chris's territory, so it ended up as a 6-0, and Johnny is in a quite unusual spot in the E3 locations. But what do you think about this group?
Pretty much what I would expect. I would have probably had Johnny at 2nd instead of 3rd, but I had Chris leading the group, especially from coming hot off of the 2nd places and 3rd places in his previous tournaments. Chris was always gonna be like number 1 seed. He's just, and having the option of choosing Berlin all 7 times. That means he gets out of group.
He didn't, though. If I recall correctly, Chris did not pick Berlin all 7 times. No, he did not, if this diagram is correct. He did pick a Haven once against Damchiko,
Yeah.
but apart from that, he picked Berlin 6 times.
Yeah, he went 6 for 6 in the group stages, and well, good luck getting your Berlin pick in the knockout stages, but
I guess that's the thing with, like, quote-unquote specialists or people being known for one map and one map only. Group stage is your thing. You can pick your map 7 times, no bans, no way you can't pick your map. But in knockouts, it's a whole nother story. You got the bans, you got a limitation of only picking it once. Yeah.
whole different animal. And yeah, Group F was a weird animal with some interesting central figures. The 2021 World Championship began on October 22nd at 5 p.m. with Papalevi versus Gordini Roy from Group F. And it was a double Sapienza, followed by a Marrakesh, which really had everything. It was a really awesome way to kick things off, casted by Punk and I, which great that so many of the best moments were shared between the 3 of us. I think we casted a lot in all 3 combinations.
Also, just gonna cut you off, guys. Finally, Americans topping the group.
Ooh, true, actually, I think.
Could
Sorry,
have
go
been 3, but it is 2. talk about the third
Maybe
one.
don't talk about a third one, maybe. I don't know. But go ahead.
Let's give him small attention, but not too much. Until then, it is the opener, Eli versus Gordini Roy, and which seemed like a inconsequential, once again, 6-0 turned out to be so crucial and probably the most crucial first match of any groups. As you can see, after all this, Papalevi 16, Gordini Roy 15, and I think it was a couple second photo finish on the first map even. That match really had everything, and yeah,
That
Gordy just yes.
that match is. I'm just thinking about it too. That match could have been the most important. I mean, it is the most important match for Papalevi because had Gordini wins that, he's got the head-to-head and extra points, and he even with this result after the forfeit, he would have been fourth place. Then that was the first match of the tournament.
I mean, I guess if you look back, there's a lot of matches which are really important if you see the standings now. But like at the start of the tournament, you think like, yeah, okay, well, first match doesn't matter anyways. But in the end, even in the first match, you get those points that can get you on the leaderboard here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's mostly, I think, those 6-0s which you look back at them and say that why couldn't you have won one? And I don't mean it this group, but in any group, because those 2 points to you and 2 points from your opponent, and if you pick just any of those three maps, then could have swung by 4 points. But yeah, this was meant to be a fight for 5th place. That much, I guess I can spoil, because Red Fox was 4 wins, undefeated, when the final weekend came, and also I think he deserves a call out that he was scheduled to play, but his notifications were off, and he was playing contract creation, and at that point, the admins decided that he should not continue in this tournament nor the next one for not respecting its authority and whatever. Just really unrespectful moment from him. But otherwise, a really great group with Buff guys speedrunning it through, with all 7 played, and 26 points, which would have been 28. I guess it doesn't matter anymore, but it was 8 a.m. on the 29th. I think Punk was there. What was the Dartmoor decider between Red Fox and Buff?
I went to therapy for that, but it didn't work.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys want to know the story behind that?
I
guess you
vaguely
can.
know, but yeah.
I think you can share it
I
here.
guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to waste time.
No, I mean go ahead.
Well, so it was Buff. Was it Buff guy versus Red Fox?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was 4 a.m. my time, or something like that, and Dartmoor was the decider. They finish. It's a photo finish, but couple of things. I can't find Red Fox's VOD to calculate the full screen loading times. And then when I go try to count Buff guys, literally when he's about to hit restart, his screen just stops, like it's frozen. And then when it resumes, he's already 30 seconds in game.
Oh my god, I didn't know it was this bad.
Me neither, actually.
And the best possible way I could have done it was I used audio cues when game starts, and thankfully they were starting PI, which meant Diana immediately starts talking, so you know when they're
Unlocked room murder mystery 47.
yeah, basic. So there was discussions about photo finish being inconclusive, and that was a prime example of photo finish being inconclusive. There's like, if you talk about the ones where you can count, there's margins of error, like you add 1 second to each load, or we had discussions about it, like the margin of error. That thing was full of margin of errors because Chris was counting, he came up with something else. I counted, I came up with something else. I don't know if our methods were different, it had to have been. But that was an inconclusive one, which I had to call. at 4 a.m. with like no other backing. It was a nightmare.
Well, I guess in the end, it's in hindsight maybe it's better that this match didn't count at all,
Right.
considering that.
But
Um,
also, it was like I
yeah,
spent an hour counting that.
yeah, exactly. That's like the other part of the story. No, you spend all that time trying to make it like as good as possible, and then it's not even needed anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
So
that's the story.
yeah. So
Great.
it's a so yeah a match that didn't happen, but will be very important for the future of RR because I think if there are some rule changes about you needing to prepare a bit more for these casts, making sure VOD is on, or some changes to the photo finish procedure, I think you can just look back at this match and realize the mess which it caused, and I think everyone will understand that we need more precision for these important moments. But I think more on that next year, at least publicly.
Possibly, yeah, when we know for
Yeah,
sure.
hopefully.
Yeah, but other than that, it's a quite straightforward group. T-North winning over 6, Mr. Mike only losing to him, Buff Guy winning 4, Papalevi 3, Gordon Roy 2, T-Hoken 1, Foxy with 3 points, no wins. No ties
It's
in
a
this one.
it's a very top down
Yeah,
group. 6-5-4-3-2-1
yeah.
wins column for these guys. It's probably again a very well balanced seed. Like their positions in the group is expected based off of the amount of wins they have. Again, the decider really was the match between Papa Levy and Gordini right at the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah, funny how it works sometimes, and first matches end up being the crucial. So 2 groups to go. I think I already ran out of the 40 minutes, but
All good, all
very
good.
kindly extending my timer to 7 per group. I'll still try to wrap things up more quickly. But these
Sorry,
are
the
2
photo
really.
finish story wasted a lot of time.
It was literally the
I
most
mean,
important part of so far.
yeah, it was well deserved time. All good.
So yeah, 2 groups to go, and to me it was 2 groups which I could really never find a handle on because because everyone had great moments and everyone had bad matches. So we ended up with a group standings with the first seed winning over. I don't even know where Rommel is. He played all 3, so it's either him or Fask, the second seed. It's really close. And of course, Brain Fixer with lots of experience. But so where do I start this one? I think I want to start by a shout out to I Like Hitman because looking from group stage to group stage, thank you Fask. Fask was the second seed. So yeah, I Like Hitman 1 year ago finished with 3 points out of 6 matches, and he improved tourney after tourney all the way to a runner-up finish in RR6, which came down to Miami. I think it was 8-6 Tucker. He could have really won RR. He could have been a RR champion by now. And yeah, I think it just goes to show that 1 year can make such a difference. And if you look at the bottom players in each group, any one of them could top their group next year, and which I Like Hitman did. And I can never not root for him because I saw his first matches and how much he improved since then.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like, go back and watch Roulette Rivals 6 finals. The way he gave Ducker a run for his money, even when a spot where it looked like it was gonna be a wash, just starts off with 2 maps, and if it was anyone but Ducker who has the experience and endurance to get better and better as the match goes on, he would have won that, I think. So yeah, definitely one of the most improved players over the year.
Player comparison back then and now coming to a roulette recap near you soon, TM.
Yeah.
Can't wait to listen to it or work on it. I'm not sure who's supposed to do that. But back to Group G. Fusk was unbeaten for a long time. His only loss was his last one against Rommel, but by then he not only clinched top 4, but I think he was confirmed to be top 3, and he... I mean, obviously, lots of players are only looking towards the group stage, the knockout stage, other than advancing from the top 4. We'll be looking at Fusk if he agrees or disagrees. But so okay, he lost to Rommel, but it's 4 wins and 1 draw until then. Very impressive. Rommel beat him, swept him actually, but that sweep went the other way around when I Like Hitman got him 6-0. So I think that's one reason, I guess, how it's kind of close at the top, 5 points separating 3, and Brainfixer also on 21 points, who had a quieter group stage, and I'm not sure if he played his first match now or not, but he's really a black... What do you call it? Black horse or dark horse? Sorry,
Dark horse.
yeah, it's black in my language, but it's a dark horse.
That's understandable.
And he just quietly won 3 matches in impressive fashion and lost to the 3 players above him, kind of in a straightforward way. But I think if he has his own day, then he can even go far in the brackets. So now Group G doesn't look that interesting, but before the last weekend, we had 4 matches to go in 2 versus 2 pairs. First, I Like Hitman had 2 matches to catch up to Rommel and Fusk against Barbecue and Jotes, and I think he needed 7 points or so, and he got the sweep against Barbecue, which eliminated him sadly. But sadly, on the last day, Jotes is also here, so it's kind of unfortunate to talk about this, but he couldn't show up to his last match, and it was 9 p.m. on the last Sunday. There was absolutely no time to reschedule, and Jotes was, even if only for a few hours, unavailable. So at 11 p.m. Central European time, the group stages was closed with this exact move. Jotes disqualified from the group, and their results removed. And yeah, Jotes 6-0 was deleted from Fusk, but also every other result. Jotes only had 1 match to go, and unfortunately everyone had to lose some points. But it was in an even fashion. I think no places were changed, and I Like Hitman would have got first place anyway with 1 map or a maximum of 2. So it is sad, but it's not game changing, if I say.
Yeah, I guess the most thing that would have changed it would have given Jotes the possibility to qualify for knockout stage here. Yes, what I teased on earlier a little bit. Had Jotes won that last match, he would be tied in everything with Brainfixer, and they would have had to play a tiebreaker, yes. So I guess with the final result that match didn't happen, kind of, well, it did not screw anyone over except for Jotes himself, probably.
Yeah, that was such a cool situation, because like I said, I was watching another esports event, and there was a similar situation where you had to beat somebody, which was very unlikely, which is Jotes' case. He had to sweep I Like Hitman, the top seed of the group, to force the tiebreaker, and then you win the tiebreaker to get out of groups. I really wish that would have happened. That would have been like a really unique situation. Sadly not to be.
What I just realized is that we've never talked about the tiebreaker match specifics. Like, would it have been first to 4 or 3 maps of 30 minutes or picks and or bans? Just
Actually, yeah, that's...
I guess we dodged the bullet there, but for next year,
It's,
something.
You know, I'll tell Ian for fun the joke later, but yeah. that would have been something to explore. But I would imagine a tiebreaker would have just been a normal group stage match.
One Dartmoor just decided all this chat suggestion here.
Yes. Pseudo only
Yeah,
falling object.
It's just who has the better PC here.
Yeah, no photo finish either. It's a roulette raceway match.
Yeah, and also no hit mess, like no tournament mode. Just type done in the chat and
Yeah, exactly. Look at Discord timestamp, and somebody's like getting the red message saying message cannot be sent.
ooh.
I'll say this: adminning and casting isn't ideal in raceway, but at least you don't have to count photo finishes. And I think
Yes.
that's a great deal. So join me next year. Okay, one last group, I think, quickly. Well, not two.
Guess
They are
everyone
just
gets
as important as is the.
yeah, everyone gets the time they deserve here.
Yeah. Which is really the upside down group for me, because David Red Sox, Speedster, Blythe, Danny Buta is the realistic standings, but it's fourth to first actually, and I never really could figure out why. But a rookie top the group, ahead of the second time returning rival, and then the console finalist, and then the PC finalist. Also had one dropout here, but it was quite early. Donny actually lost another 6 points to that, so in a normal group he would have finished on 32, which is
You say that's quite early, but I think that was like 5 days before. It was the 10th. The 14th was the last day. It was the 10th or the 9th.
yeah.
That's when it was decided that that was going to be a dropout.
Yeah, I realize now that it was early for his group because
Right.
he only played one match. But he
In
played only
terms
one
of
match
matches
in
played,
16
right.
days, yeah.
Yeah.
Lazy group.
Oh, group age was infamous.
Oh, definitely.
With all due respect, it's a miracle that they finished even with 7 players. And Donny, of course, very impressive, and Blythe showing some improvement, well, a lot of improvement, beating Speedster and David Red Sox. The results are much more muddy because Donny lost to David and everyone else lost at least twice. It's a circle, and it's a weird sketch of who beat whom and who lost to whom. But it's of course about the points, and at least those were clearer. And actually a 3-point gap between David and Shuik, but it was the most significant one. David had to play catch up during his last matches. And also Shuik not winning a very last Berlin spin cost him another 2 points, so he could have been on 19. But it didn't really matter because David had to score 8 points, and he swept to Doria and had just 2 points to score against Blythe. And he actually won that match, so it didn't come down to a single map. It looked a bit scary for David Red Sox, but of course he managed it, and he's doing quite fine since then.
The only group, I think, where the top 2 players were, in points at least, tied for first.
Oh, that's a good fact, Curry, and Blythe's fact is also good. It's good to have input from your own group, and David actually beat first seed, first place finisher and second place finisher. And then I guess Doria and Shuik was his other 2 wins, because I know Goulet he lost to, because the only case of particle boosting in the group stage, unfortunately, David had to restart because of that. And
not too sure about that actually.
Another?
Maybe I'm
Was
not.
there another?
I think there was. I can't recall if it was this tournament or if it was Raceway. But I think no, it was. It must have been this tournament. I admin a match where there was a particle boost at the very early in the tournament though. If I recall
maybe.
correctly.
So yeah, and the other loss was speedster, but it was a 6-0, which was crucial for both Americans, because I think if speedster didn't have as many points, he would have been, of course, fourth, and Shuik would have been an even bigger danger. So it's strange scores all around, strange order between the top four, but all very deserving to advance. And well, I know already some knockout results, but they are doing fine. They're doing just fine in the group and the knockouts as well. But yeah, that would be from me in this group and the group stages in total.
Yeah, that has been 25, I think 25 days of the Roulette Rivals 2021 group stage condensed into, well, plus minus an hour. I think we're about at an hour now.
Sorry about it.
Oh, do not worry about it. Guess that's partially what we're here for, just testing stuff out a little bit as well. Yeah, I guess maybe one last thing, or the next thing, probably the last thing we can go over, just talk about a little bit, is the knockout stage, which has already started as of this week, hasn't it? Like 4 days ago.
Monday early afternoon was the first match.
Yeah, okay. Then I remember that correctly. So we did see the first few knockout stage matches, and I think I just quickly want to go over them. Maybe talk about what might have been surprising for us here or not, or who knows. If I can get this to work. Okay. Improvisation.
Take your time, it's gonna be worth it. It's more to the listeners as well. Four weeks of knockout stage, and so if it's 32 player double elimination, then it's just 60 matches or so. It is going to be so much calmer for these few weeks. We had, of course, 10-15 matches the same day, and now it's not gonna happen anymore, but we will have plenty of maps in the same day, because first to four is the new format for the first two rounds, meaning we play until someone gets 4 points, which is usually 2 or 3 maps, but with a tie it's possible to get another one, and that will be increased to first to 6, or the later rounds until the semi-finals, which is, it's their own beast. We'll get there if we get there.
Indeed. Think, yeah, should be about ready with a bit improvised solution on the brackets right here. Yeah, this is fine. I think. I hope it's at least somewhat readable. If not, the entire brackets are up on challenge, obviously. So yeah, I think we can quickly go over the 4 quarters of the round 1 to 3 matches here, and have a quick talk about them. And yeah, for that, gonna again give it off to our stats master, Infrafun here.
I get to start with my own tragic story, but yeah, so 4 quarters, and another quick word about the knockout stage is that not just the group matters, but the position also. So if you get some place in some group, it was a predetermined position before the tournament. So you could strategize, or at least anticipate your opponent in the first round. First quarter is, well, yeah, I'm biased, but it seemed statistically the toughest group, with myself as the defending champ, 3 former grand finalists, two people who finished third in a RR before, and the other two without a podium are Pijero fifth in a huge PC bracket, and Krudi seventh in his rookie run. So I think it's a very strong 8 players, and I'm looking at the sides. So we only have these 3 round 1 matches finished, where David Red Sox became the first to advance to round 2 after defeating me, which was my third encounter, and all 3 ended with a decider, or quote-unquote map 3. We just had to go the other way this time, and David Red Sox will advance to round 2. For me, it's the losers bracket and potential 9 wins from that second title. Awfully likely. But yeah, David will play Mr. Mike, defeating Random. In probably they've played plenty of times before and know each other very well as well. And now it's 2 Americans in that round 2 match. And we saw Crudy beating Ally Hitman, which is, of course, is an upset. First place defeated by 4th place. But it just goes to show how tough this part of the bracket is. And he will play one of the Dutchmen. It is either Pijero or the 3rd place finisher, the surprise 3rd place Johnny X, who of course finished 3rd last year and is the favorite of this match, and arguably the favorite to advance to round 4 from this part.
And speaking of those few contestants for the round 4 spot, I'd like to have a quick prediction from you guys here about this. The top part here of the bracket. Who of those players will make it to round 3? Also, who will face off in that round 3? Maybe just give a quick prediction, and if you want to, you can explain yourself. You don't have to if you just want to throw names out here. So I'm gonna start with Punk right here. Who do you think is gonna be meeting in the round 3 match 45, and maybe why?
45.
So
the
the
25
first.
match, yeah, the 25 match is to me that's gonna be determined by the map picks. It's like which maps get picked by David and Mr. Mike. It's something I'm kind of strat theory crafting too. I was looking at both of those players and what kind of maps they pick. I don't know. I guess I'll do my analysis. Players can do whatever they want with it. David Red Sox is really efficient in New York. For example, like we've seen him play this in the group stages earlier. So something like that would be a strong pick. To me, it's really a toss-up, and I can't really say either or until I see the maps. But yeah, it's in terms of the other person in 45, there's like 3 options: Pijero, Johnny, and Crudy. Let's say Johnny gets out and he beats out Crudy. So Johnny, I would put him at 45. And I don't know for the other one between Mike and Red Sox.
I do kind of want a name here though from you, because in the possible next segment, I'd like to compare these to how it actually went, and see. So I kind of am forcing you a little bit to give me a second name for the 45 match
since here. I don't know, I guess I'll say David Red Sox, since he beat In for Fun, the champion. Put him there. Red Sox and Johnny X.
All right, noted that down. In for Fun, do you want to go second, or shall I do my prediction for the second? So I will be doing them as well.
I can do it now, and you can take care of the order in the next rounds. So this first match, David versus Mike, So now I lost to David and I lost to Mike the last time I played. So I guess it's a fitting matchup between the two. I think David is the favorite here, and I think he will advance. But it's really hard what to base it on. David has been one of the quicker players.
Yeah.
Forever. And Mike has been one of the players forever with the least amount of restarts. So these absolute extremes.
Exactly. That's why I say it's gonna be determined by map picks. It's a lot more important than it looks. I mean, in terms of map picks and bans from other times. But I personally think it's gonna be determined by map picks and bans this time.
And I would say David to advance from this for the sole reason because I think it's more likely, judging by his last 7 matches, is that he will cut down on the restarts because he has always been quick and now he's safer. While Mr. Mike has been safe and I'm just not sure how much quicker can he get. So I would give the advantage to David here. And the other match is head goes against heart, and I suppose it's fine if I'm wrong, but I am pulling for Pajero for this match in 1 hour. He did pick New York, which is really safe pick against Johnny, I feel. I lost to Johnny as well in New York, so nothing is bulletproof against a World Championship podium finisher, but that could be Pajero's pick, Pajero's map to win. And then it's Berlin, which I'm not sure how Johnny is on Season 3 maps just yet. So even giving that to Johnny, it would still be a coin flip for the map 3. So I would say that Johnny's, it's really hard. I think, and I guess I want Pitch to advance, no disrespect to Johnny. And Crudy has been, but this is one upset, and why can't he make another one? But I think Pajero would then make it to round 3, and of course I'm either very wrong or very right, because Johnny is the more likely, I think, to advance. But these would be my 2 names, David and PG.
Noted them down as well with all those very wise and very serious predictions and analysis right here. I'm just gonna throw a bit of a curveball into this whole prediction thing, I guess. First up, I'm gonna predict Mr. Mike to win the match, the match against David Red Sox, and make it to round 3. I don't have any real facts to base this on, honestly, but seeing how you two predicted for David Red Sox, I'm just gonna do the other way around, predict for Mr. Mike. So you got a bit of diversity in here. I mean, you guys already said it's gonna be a close one anyway. It's gonna come down to map picks and like performance on the day, because that can also like influence. You might just have a bad day and not play as good as you used to or something, and that can screw with you. So I'll be throwing on Mr. Mike in the round 3, and from the bottom path, I think I will go for Johnny X as well, because he's been very consistent in the tournaments that he's participated in, and you can't finish 3rd if you drop down in round 1. So I guess you can, but it's a bit unlikelier, I guess. So I'm gonna predict Mr. Mike and Johnny X to be the round 3 matchup in the top quarter of the bracket.
Yeah, it will be funny if it was none of our prediction. It was Mr. Mike and Crudy.
Indeed, but yeah, I guess I think we can carry on to the second part, the second quarter of the bracket now. I assume, if you call them quarters like that, I don't know.
Well, I did. I'm not sure if it's the right thing to call or not, but I did anyway. And the second one is, I need to look at the challenge now because we had more matches now, and so Chris is the first player this year to have made it to round 3 after sweeping Mendo and then sweeping Fusk. And of course, only one loss from him so far against Papier. Could have been just a off day for him, but I think you can't really go without one Kaneta also just lost one map. So I think those are going to be very similar styles if they meet, and I will say that they will in a moment. Fask got not only to the top 32, but winning a winner's bracket match, beating the rookie Mando. I think both can be very happy with what they've achieved so far. Even though they are both in the loser's bracket now, it's really not over for them yet. And as well as Chaos, who got a map against Chris, and it was a scale map 3. I'm not sure how that went, how close it was. I want to remember it a close one. And Chaos is a big player, very fast as well. Not in winner's bracket contention, but definitely can still advance. And we got even more matches to quickly go over. Kaneta kicked off the brackets with 4-0 against Papalevi, which was scheduled and played within, I think, 2 hours in a Monday early afternoon. But he's already through to round 2, and of course the Raiders know that Blythe will be his opponent after, but I can only assume a Haven win, followed by following a Colorado win. So it's a quite nice progress from this part of the brackets.
Yeah, very well said. And I think we both know what I'm going to ask of you now. Chris X3 already in round 3, so I'm not going to have you predict that one. But yeah, who? It's much more narrowed a choice here. Who's going to take the other round 3 spot against Chris X3? Is it gonna be K, Kaneta, or Blith? And I'm gonna kick this off real quick. And I think Kaneta's performance through this entire tournament and the previous Roulette Raceway 2 and even the tournament before that, RR6, I think, where he was a rookie, he definitely showed that he can like battle it out with the top people here. So it's gonna be a question when and if he's gonna get stopped on his way through the bracket here. But I'm gonna say the time for Kaneta to be stopped is not quite yet, and Kaneta will take the match against Blith and make it to round 3.
I can go next. Of course, it's just pick between 2 names, and it is awfully hard to predict against Kaneta at this part of the year. Ever since, well, I guess his third match of Raceway 2, I think everyone realized that he is here to achieve big things, and the first thing would be to get a rematch against Chris X3, which would be one step shorter, only first to 6, not first to 8. But I think Kaneta is the favorite here. Blythe already with a win under his belt, but Kaneta will be his toughest opponent yet. So I'm going Kaneta.
Right, and finally, Punk, what's your take on this?
Who will face Chris? Yeah, like Kaneta's performance has been so consistent and impressive. I would have to say him as well.
Right, quick and easy. And yeah, I suppose with that we can move on halfway through the bracket now. And we look at the third quarter.
It's nice even down here with all 4 round 1 matches completed and neither of the round 2 ones. No upsets so far, and there's the brain fixer match I missed. Dakar won that one. But yeah, both group winners and both runner-ups beat the 3rd and 4th place finishers, which means we have Dakar versus Papier and Dani Buta versus Janini in 2nd round. It is the German part, which I was told by you as well and Janini. And so Buff is also from Germany originally, but competing or living in Canada, I think, Canada right now. So he is kind of lost to Janine in an all German matchup, and Papier is also winning in the other side of this quarter. Yeah, so it's 3 sweeps. Curry had to be sent down by Donny yesterday or so.
Yesterday.
Yeah. What the hell did I say? Chris correcting me. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, anyway, that leaves with 4 in this part of the bracket. 2 multi-time RR champion and 2 with fairly few small experience. 1 complete rookie, the only rookie to win their group, and returning rival from RR5. Quite compelling.
And I guess, with that being said, we can quickly go on. And I'm going to ask Inferfun to be the first one to do a prediction for this part of the bracket. Who will face off in that round 3? The perfect match number of 47, by the way.
Yeah, the perfect match number 47 just has to be, well, it is the great question of who is the greatest roulette players, but 2 of the few who can definitely be in that question are Dakar and Giannini, several-time RR champions both facing fairly inexperienced but awfully quick player. But I'm expecting no upsets from these 2 rounds, as much as it hurts to bet against my fellow Hungarian, which I'm so incredibly happy to see someone from my country to root for and actually do better than me. I think that's the funniest part. But I think it's Dakar versus Giannini in the round 3.
All right. Punk, do you want me to go next, or do you want to go next, or?
I mean, mine is probably it's the same, so I guess I can go next.
I guess I can also quickly share that it's gonna be the same for me here.
Match 47 is Dakar and Giannini. It's gonna be an exciting match to watch if it happens. But that's my prediction for it.
Yeah. Also, what I quickly want to throw out there: Dakar still yet to lose a match.
Yeah.
And
19
technically also yet to lose a map because he only tied on once. So
19 match win streak.
Yeah. Which will either be stopped, or he's gonna carry through and win the whole tournament, and he will go on like that into RR7. But yes, soon every one of us predicting a Dakar versus Giannini matchup in round 3. Match number 47, a match truly worthy of the perfect number. And I guess that leaves us with the last quarter of the bracket.
Yeah, one last quarter to do, and well, I wrote this one as Fraud's quarter, but it is really Fraud who is, I think, 1 step above the other 7, but all these 7 are just really experienced, because I think Rommel, Tinor, Meme, Speedster, with great successes from more than a year ago, and then Joe joining RR5. Okay, he's the newest, but he has made his mark. And then Mikulers and Chrome, the Polish, starting in RR4. They all made their mark so much. None of them rookie, none of them experienced. All of them. There is really only one championship once a year, so it can be another added pressure. But the bracket pressure are beyond them at this point. All of them playing so much in RRs and community events and practicing for months and months. So going to be really hard to call these ones, but it is really still headlined by Fraud, who is just a step above them.
Yeah, and well, I can already share as much that I already wrote Fraud as one of my predictions, at least, for that round 3 match.
Bold.
I mean, he has shown over the last tournaments he is a man to be feared, especially when like the matches, quote unquote, actually start to matter, and there's no leeway anymore. You have like it's do or die, not quite yet since it's still like upper bracket. So all of these players technically still have a chance of making it to the finals, even if they drop a match here. But yeah, Frode, Taken, RR6. Yeah, multi Roulette Rivals world champion, not world champion, but normal champion over the last couple of tournaments. He's been here from the start. He's a man to be feared, and yeah, definitely I think one worthy of making it very far in this tournament. As for his opponent, it is gonna be, yeah, it might be a bit of a harder choice here actually. Feel like they're in the lower part here. There is no one who is as dominant as Frode is, because like all of these are like good players. Everyone can beat everyone here. So again, I feel like it's gonna come down to performance on the day, map picks, map bans, what it's gonna be in the end. But I think I'm gonna say that the man that you would only want to listen to if he wins, or otherwise you're just gonna like tune him down a little bit on the shoutcast. T-Nord is gonna be facing Frode in that round 3.
Interesting. Shall I go next then?
I mean, since you asked, you might as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with the Frode choice. I'm not seeing either Rommel or Joe. 1 second. Just casually losing my voice over talking for 2 hours.
We're almost through, don't worry.
I don't put a lot of chance to either Rommel or Joe beating Frode in round 2. It is only first to 4. You only have to take 2 maps. Rommel has some days where he sees the spin and is the fastest. One of the fastest in the community. Is he faster than Frode? Or does he also need to hope for Frode to have an off day? Because now it's 2 conditions. I'm not sure. I think Rommel would win this first round match. And then it's not so likely that he wins the next one against Frode. So he would be the first in round 3. And it's just 2 matches that are really hard to call. And of course, one is our undefeated Chrome from Group A, who will, in my opinion, face Meme Junkie, because his head is cooler and he has more game knowledge, just a tiny bit, just enough to make Meme the favorite, who never really underperforms. He's so consistently up there with, I think, always finishing in the top 10 ever since RR2. I don't expect him to drop this round 1. Can he lose round 2? This has been the best Chromax we've seen so far. And Meme has been... So it was a bit hard for Meme to get out of this group. But when he needed to, he delivered. So obviously it will come down to picks and bans, and Chrome will not get away with picking Mendoza. Not even sure what his next choice would be, because him and Meme are so experienced on the longer maps. And at the beginning of this, I was going to say that Chrome finds a way against Meme, but now I'm thinking about it, I think Meme has the maps as well to beat Chrome and face Frode once again in round 3.
right, and that leaves us with one final prediction from Punk here.
Well, out the obvious, I'm probably gonna pick. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Frody for match 48. I think I agree with T-Nord here, or not T-Nord. I mean, In for Fun about T-Nord and Meme Junkie. Meme Junkie again. He kind of struggled to get out of groups. T-Nord topped his group. That match will probably come down to how T-Nord feels that day, whether it's I don't know. Is that map scheduled? The match scheduled? That might help me see. Sorry.
All good,
Yeah.
all good.
Colorado and Paris. Okay. And T-Nord banned Dartmoor. So that's. I still expect Meme Junkie to get out of that match, and Chrome, I think, throughout group stage has been very solid. Like, he won all his matches, so I expect him, no matter if it's T-Nord or Meme Junkie. So I'm gonna say it's Frody and Chrome X for match 48.
All right. And I guess that's it for the start of the knockout stage here. And yeah, I guess it's also kind of the end of this first episode of Roulette Recap, slowly but steadily approaching. It has been a bit longer than I think all of us expected here. With bit of delays and everything here and there. But it has been a fun first experience, definitely. I think I can speak for all of us that we definitely enjoyed doing this and are looking forward to do this more. As for how much more, when, or where, probably not the where, but like the when and the how soon, I can't give you an answer to that just yet. My personal plan would be to do this probably somewhere in the middle of the knockout stage again, when we maybe have a bit of a clearer picture of the entire bracket, have first matches, or even not really first because we already have a lot of them, but like matches being done, maybe a few players who are shown up really great, or others who we expected to do great, kind of underperforming. And yeah, I thank both Infofun and GK Punk for doing this together with me here. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure as well as mine.
Yeah, likewise, and thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And I think I can thank everyone in chat for being here for this long. The VOD of this is gonna definitely go up on my YouTube. I might look to get it up on other platforms as well, but I have to investigate that. Please give us feedback about this. This can only work out in the future if we know what went well, what we can improve on, because this is the first time for everything, and we certainly did not do everything perfectly the first time. I'm pretty sure of that. I guess you can just post feedback anywhere, really. Send it to us in DM, send it on the Discord, Twitter, I don't know what else there's, Twitch chat, technically. Though I'm not too sure how much.
in DMs.
Yeah.
And Korean email, or business email.
True. Actually, I don't think I have @Currymaker emails yet. I should maybe make some. But yeah, feedback always appreciated. What you like, what you didn't like, what you think we can improve on, and I guess I can also say that if you are looking forward to have more of this, do have an eye on the Discord, because that will be most likely where we'll be announcing the next episode. And yeah, I think that's it from me. Do any of you have any closing words?
Thanks for having me, and yeah, everyone should stick around. But I think I don't have to tell this to anyone here. The 4 most exciting weeks of this community is upon us, and you really want to watch all of these matches remaining. And well, someone will be crowned champion on the 12th of December. We'll be talking before that, but it's a really exciting process, and I hope you are enjoying it as well.
Indeed. Speaking of other matches, there is a match coming up. 28 minutes. It's Pajero versus Johnny X, casted by Mendy over on twitch.tv/MendyTina. It's still in half an hour time, so I'm assuming he's not live yet. I can't go ahead and raid just yet. But maybe just take this break to, refresh and get ready possibly to watch the match. It's gonna be great for sure. And yeah, I'm gonna see if there's anyone else live who I can raid.
The current world record holder of receiving raids is on.
World record roller of receiving raids. What did I miss on that?
Well, whenever a match ends in evening Central European time, then it's manga, and it's a great day. But
And it's even like the
because he's-
same caster raiding him like twice a day.
I think I did that
Yeah.
probably as well.
Yeah, we've all done that.
And nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
Amazing
it's just a
person.
joke.
I
It
mean,
is, yeah.
I didn't mean it in any
No,
ill intent.
of
way.
course not.
It was a joke.
all good. And we're just gonna continue
Yeah.
doing that. And I'm actually gonna raid him. So yeah, go
Nice.
say hi to Mango. Stick around for the match in half an hour over on Mendy's channel. And
Tell him to watch the VOD.
yeah,
He probably doesn't have time. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching.
indeed. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.